Cleaning messy data manually can take hours, especially when values are inconsistent or entered incorrectly. In this lesson, you'll learn how to automate data cleaning in Power Query using techniques like merge queries and fuzzy matching, allowing Power BI to detect and fix common human data entry errors without manual corrections. You would love this. Let's dive in.
Okay, so these are some of the options that allows us to find the problems quickly. Now that we understand what the problems are, what would be the right solution to solve it? How can we go about solving it?
Change it to the correct.
We can change it to the correct value. That's one solution, which is I can just right click on a value and I can
Replace.
just simply say replace value with the right version of the value. That's one solution. You know, another thing that you can do, I have a little older version of Power BI. In your case, you might be seeing a small line here. Can you see that small line here? You can actually click on the line in the newer version. They have solved this problem. So if you have a newer version, you might be able to just click on the line. See this? And I can just replace a value from here because now I have all the problems consolidated in a single space. It becomes easier for you to replace it. That's one solution. What is the problem with this solution?
Doesn't solve the core problem, which is somebody is entering incorrect data.
Core problem remains unsolved. That is absolutely true. How do you solve the core problem?
That depends on what the cause is, but
Yeah,
and whether you have any control over the people who are keying that in.
entering the data. Normally, so one of the ways of solving the core problem would be creating some restrictions around entering the data. You know, you can have some data validation rule and create a list rather than an open text field. So these are some of the potential solutions that you can think about. But at the same time, if you don't work in IT, you're not close to the system. These are some of the things which might be very difficult, or it will take a very, very long time, which means
Not
making a
always, it's not always a system solution, though. It could be a training problem.
training problem system. Yeah, correct. That might more be a long-term, even if it's a training problem or a system problem, it might just take a little longer. So some of the solutions would be system, data validation rules, or training. Um, at the same time, it might just be a legacy data, you know, the data just came across from a legacy system and that's how it is. And you just have to deal with it. Um, some of the other solution that you can think of is what if you want to solve it within Power BI? Apart from replace values, is there any other solution when we think about just here and now? What are some of the solutions that you can think of? Apart from going one by one, because when you go one by one, another problem exists, which is it's quite manual, right? If you have a really big data set and you're going one by one, it might take quite a long time to just go through all these different combinations and permutations of the problem and solve because there is no consistent pattern to the problem. It's just mixed. It's also not future proof, right? If I say, okay, replace direct marketing with the right version, if someone makes a different mistake in the future, it will just become part of the data set. So you will have to do a consistent, you will have to do a constant maintenance, manual and time consuming. So these are some of the problems with this approach. Can you think of any other solution? How would you tackle it a little more smartly? Think about this.
You can do it. You can use the replace values function,
Mhm.
but that's only going to work if you've got consistent patterns.
Which we don't. Consistent pattern, correct. So replace value. So that's one option, 100%. Apart from that option, can you think of something else? We
I
do.
can.
Yeah, you tell
I
me.
have an idea here. You can create a new column and
Yeah.
you can enter a script or a formula using English language to say these represents or like, and
Yeah.
then that would just automate
Yeah.
and replace when anyone makes a mistake or anyone.
Correct. So, so what? So tell me if that's what you're suggesting. So using, I can create a separate column which only gives me list of correct retailer type, or it gives me some kind of a mapping, right? That's the incorrect value, that's the correct value, and we can use that mapping to automatically replace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is another solution we can use. So let's use something similar. And I also want to just include how this capability of automatically using AI. There is also something called a fuzzy match that we can use, and it's incredibly powerful. And how do we use it? So this is what we'll do. We are going to create a separate list which will only contain list of correct retailer types. And I can use that correct list only to fix this. And it will automatically make some estimations and assumptions. So step number one, create a list of correct retailer type, right? From that correct list, I'm going to do, you can think of it as a VLOOKUP, right? I can do a VLOOKUP with this list, and row by row, if it matches, it means the value is correct, which is, for example, something like this. It will match, it will not 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 match, not match, not match, not match, match, and probably it will match, right? So wherever it does not match at a row level, I would know that there is a problem that exists. I hope most of you have had a chance to use VLOOKUP. What is the last argument of VLOOKUP? It's a false, right? Or you can use a zero. What does that zero mean?
Exact or true. True.
Exact match, right? It means 100% match. Every single character, every single space has to match for this to work. That's what that false means. We also have something called a fuzzy match, which we will explore now. It is more of a lenient match. I'm going to make an 80% match. How that 80% calculation happens, we don't really know. There's some algorithm that works out the back end. But what it says is if there is just a one character missing, or if there is an extra character, if there is an extra space or a less space, I'm going to check the correct value and I'm going to find the closest value and return it. So majority of your human error problems, which people are just typing it in, it will be close to the original value. It is going to fix a lot of your problem automatically without you having to go one by one. So we are going to see an exact match, which is more like a VLOOKUP, and then we can also compare it with a fuzzy match. And I would really like you to see how it solves a lot of the problems by itself. Not only will it solve the previous problem, it will also have the potential to solve the future problem. If someone makes a mistake in some other character, right, that will also be solved. So let's actually have a look how all of this works. So let's start by creating this list first. Let's create the list. I'm going to click on retailer type. And by the way, you can do this in Excel as well. You can come out of this Power BI file. I hope you would know how to do it in Excel yourself. So I'm going to skip that part, but just know that you can actually use this file. Let me actually show it to you quickly. You don't have to follow my step because eventually we are going to do it in Power BI. How can you create a list of correct retailer type in Excel? I click on it, I go to insert, I click on pivot table, right? And then I can drop my retailer type inside rows. Whenever you drop something inside a row, it gives you a list of distinct values, correct? And then I can just count any rows. It gives you the count. And then I can do a right click, sort largest to smallest. So this is also the frequency distribution, right? It gives you, this becomes your list of correct retailer type, and then this becomes your list of incorrect retailer type. And you can copy it from here. That's one way of doing it. Let's do it in Power BI. We are going to do something very similar. You right click on the column, you say add as a new query, and then I will convert this into a table.
Sorry, Ali, can
Yeah.
you repeat the step again from the beginning? I missed it. Sorry. I'm looking, but somehow I missed it.
Click on sales. You are here in Power Query Editor, right?
Yes.
Click on sales and then click on retailer type. Retailer type column. Right click
Yep.
and then click on add as a new query.
Yep. Done.
Done. Okay. As soon as you do it, you are going to have this here. Yes. Then click on retailer type. I want to convert this retailer type into a table. Okay, convert it to a table and click on OK. Once this is a table, you know what we did with pivot table? It's very similar to what we are going to do here. Click on transform, transform column on the top, and then click on group by. People who come from a SQL background are more familiar with this group by. Group by, right? Name of the column, new column name is count, and I'm just going to count the rows. For every single value, for every single distinct value in the column, I'm going to count number of rows. That is basically your frequency. Okay, if this is working, just give me a thumbs up before I move on to the next step. So I'm making sure I'm not leaving anyone behind. Nick and James, on good? All right, good. That's your count. Then I can click on this arrow and I can sort it ascending or descending. So basically, right, you have your correct and then you have your incorrect. How can I remove the incorrect ones? That's a question. How can I only have the correct one, which is the first 6 in my case?
You
Yes,
can
Phil.
click on the down, click on the down arrow and then unselect everything that is not in those top counts.
Correct.
So everything is one or two.
Correct, correct. That's a better way. So one way could be I can just click here and I can just remove them one by one, or I can click on this down arrow and I can remove one or two. But if you want to make it more future proof and you can make an assumption, you can also go inside this number filters. So you can say less than 5. So you're assuming that if a value occurs less than 5, just remove it. So you can also do that, less than 5. So even if a particular mistake is repeated like this one, it will still be removed again in the future, right? Okay. Sorry, my bad. It is the other way around. I want to say it actually keeps what you put here. So I say greater than 5. Okay. So now that stays. I can double click on column 1 and I can call it retailer type. Another important thing that you don't have to miss, and I want to make it more obvious because it will give you a problem down the road. And this is what people make a mistake in the course, which is they don't change this data type. This is a generic data type. When you have a generic data type, it will give you some problems. So make sure you click on ABC123 and make it a text. Okay, make it a text. So now this is the text, this is a count, and these 6 values are the correct ones. And here you can also see 6 distinct, 6 unique, none of the values is repeated.
So Ali, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but I see all the applied steps on the right. Does it kind of save this as a script and then run that later? Is that what happens here?
That is absolutely right, James. So these are all the steps. Let me expand on it a little bit more further. See this view tab? Inside the view tab, if I go in advanced editor, this is your complete script. And this is nothing but a consolidated view of all the applied steps. See this converted to table. You can see converted to table. So it's the entire script. As soon as I click on this, when I will click on the close and apply, this script will run on the dataset, and this dataset is completely transformed and then loaded within Power BI Desktop. Make sense, James?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to sales. Thanks. So now I have this dataset, which only gives me correct retailer type. And let's call it something, otherwise it will just confuse us because we have this retailer type column. So let's call it, let's just put like a C underscore. C will stand for correct retailer type table. That's your table name. And that will be followed by your column name. A lot of referencing that works within Power BI is a table name followed by a column name inside a box bracket. Okay. I'll go back to my sales. Let's do an exact match. How do you do that in Power Query? What's like a VLOOKUP equivalent in Power Query? Has anyone done it? That also allows you can think of it as Kushal lookup value, that's DAX. And that's a good distinction because I'm going to expand on it. You can think of it as it allows you to consolidate by flattening, right? It just brings the column together in the same file. And that option in Power Query is merge queries. It allows you to flatten the data set. As we discussed, data model is when to make a file flat and when not to make a flat. How do you draw the distinction? That's your merge query. What is your DAX equivalent of VLOOKUP? Remember, there is a Power Query editor and then there is a DAX. What is the DAX equivalent of VLOOKUP? There's a function called related and lookup value. These are the two syntaxes that we can use within DAX. So I hope you see the distinction. What language do we use in Power Query? Who knows that? Correct. In Power Query, we use a language called M. You can see the syntax here as well. Your M is more like a scripting language, and your DAX is a functional language. You don't need to necessarily know the difference, but the point I'm making is these are the two different languages, important ones that works within Power BI. Your M works in Power Query Editor, and the strength of M is to automate your data transformation. And your strength of DAX is to help you build logic and calculation and your measures. Although there is some overlap, you can build some basic calculations in M, of course, but that's not the strength of M. Okay, I'll go back to my sales, home tab, merge queries, and then using the drop down, I'll select correct retailer type. Then I want to select lookup columns. These are the columns which will link the data sets together, which is your retailer type and retailer type. This is the step that people miss and forget. So I just want to make it too obvious. You have to select the column, how it links together, right? When you're using a VLOOKUP, that's your lookup value in the first column of the array. Click, and then I say OK. OK. When it performs the merge, it brings the entire table. And this table can have 50 columns. So it does not automatically expand all 50 columns. It lets you choose by clicking on this expand icon. So click on the expand icon. Expand. What do I want? Do I really want the count? Nah, I don't really want the count. So I uncheck the count. You can also uncheck this option, which is use original column names as prefix. It's just a good practice. It will not give you any problem if you don't uncheck it. If you don't uncheck it, you just get like a really long column names with dot and whatnot. So I prefer to not use it. And then you click OK. That is your retailer type. Then you hold, drag, and move it side by side. If you have been able to successfully expand it, just give me a thumbs up, please. So we go to the next step. Yes, Nick.
Yes, I did. I missed that last bit. So I couldn't get the retailer type into the new column into the.
Okay, so do you have this thing, Nick, or no? What point did you lose me?
Yeah, so I've got the C retailer type, but I couldn't get the table into the sales.
Oh, did you click on this icon, this expand icon?
But I've just got it in. I haven't got that table, the C retailer type table, in the sales.
So you don't have, right? Okay, so click on the home tab, and then click on merge queries. Yeah, click on this step.
Yeah.
And then you use this drop down to select your retailer type.
Yeah.
And then you click on your retailer type column in the sales table, and you click on the retailer type column in the retailer type table, and then click OK.
Okay, got it.
Done?
Thank you. Yeah.
And then you expand.
Yeah.
Uncheck your count, uncheck this, and click OK. All good? Now?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you.
And then you move the column on the left. Great.
Yeah.
So now you have retailer type column, and you see the nulls. All of these nulls indicate, what does it indicate? It indicates that this value does not match any value in this list, which means it's a problem because the list has all the necessary values of the correct retailer type. So if it does not exist, it's a problem. This is your 100% match, right? This is your 100% exact match.
So if we were doing Excel, this would be the VLOOKUP exact.
This is
Yeah.
This is your VLOOKUP exact, and this is what we do with VLOOKUP,
Yeah.
which is false, correct? Yes. Now we are just going to say, don't be too strict on us. Let's be a little more lenient. And we say, okay, let's do a 80% fuzzy match. And when you do it, it becomes a lot better for these scenarios where you just have like one missing character, right? When this outdoors shop gets compared with the list, with the correct outdoor shop, it might be a 95% match already. So it will start to return the correct value. So without you having to go one by one and fixing it, this fuzzy match will start to solve some of these your innocent human errors, right? So let's see what that looks like. Go to Home tab. We are going to repeat the step. Go to Home tab, merge queries again. Same step, which is see retailer type. Then I'm going to click on the lookup columns, retailer type and retailer type. Okay, one common mistake that people make is not this column, right? This column. This column is a result of merge, right? This is your result of the merge. Once you have done it, I'm going to check this box. And when you check the box, also notice how your number of matches will also increase.
So Ali, in just one quick one.
Mm-hmm.
When I in this step, I haven't done it. I'm just following you. When I click on the tick box for use fuzzy match, the selection numbers on your end it's 7505, but at
Yeah.
my end it's 7514.
No, I've not checked it. I'm just using this now. When I will click on it, it should match.
Oh yes,
Right.
sorry.
Okay. So now you can see how your number of matches have increased, right? It means few things which were not matching as an exact has now started to match. Let's click OK. Click OK, expand, uncheck your count, click OK, hold and drag and move it to the left. If anyone has any question at this point, please unmute your mic and ask for help if you have not been able to follow the step correctly.
I don't know if this is a question or not because I'm just trying to understand this part. So we
Mm-hmm.
basically, from the start of this process, we added a new query where we picked up the retailer type and created a new table.
Mm-hmm.
And from that table, we use sort of like VLOOKUP in Power BI, which is merge queries. And we use fuzzy logic to match it up, which is and this is the result, correct?
Correct. That is a good summary, Usman. Effectively, my end goal is to clean my retailer type column without doing a lot of manual work. So we are just exploring a solution which will automate the process for us a little bit. And to automate the process, we have created a new column, which actually came out from the same column, if you think about this, but we only have the correct values. And from the correct value, first we did an exact merge, and then we did a fuzzy merge. Now, when you explore this fuzzy merge, you will see, especially explore these spots, right? These are all the values which are incorrect. These are all the values which were incorrect in the original column. How do I know they were incorrect? Because of these nulls, right? I can actually see they are incorrect. But without me having to change them one by one, see how fuzzy match is fixing it. Fuzzy match is fixing this extra character, this extra space, this extra character, a missing character, this line break. How does it do it? It says, okay, let me check this sports store with the list of values where in this data set. And it says, okay, with the correct value, I have a 95% match, which is good enough. So it just returns the value back. But I also want you to notice something else, which is not every value is fixed. See this? We have some acronyms which are still resulting in nulls, correct? It means fuzzy match does not even know what this is. It's not even an 80% match. And I'm not creating this number from imagination. Like 80% is the actual calculation that happens at the back end. What is the criteria? That is not really known, but it performs an 80% match criteria. So here it does not match with anything. How do we solve it? We are going to see now.